Hey everybody, hope you've had a wonderful day and that you found who's got your money. It's been a great day so far. Had a lot of running around to do and everything, and unfortunately I was supposed to sign a contract with a guy this morning on a roof, and he had even said 3 days ago, hey, that's a gentleman's agreement. This is a done deal and everything. And I'm like, okay, cool. I know some of his friends and we went to the same high school. He's a little bit older and everything. Boom, lo and behold, there's a little $2,000 he can't wrap his head around having to do something, and so it wasn't very expensive for him to go back on his word. We'll just say that. So we got part 2 coming up of how to get rich. So please do me a favor, stay tuned, watch it. If you got any questions, you can send me an email. I also got the Hustle Nation store. If you want any t-shirts or mugs or anything of that nature, please take a look at it. Got some great stickers with the dump trailer as well. Hopefully there'll be something that you're going to be able to pick up and you kind of follow this and start on your way to financial independence. If that's not what you're about, I get it. And there's no hard feelings or anything like that. All I'm trying to do is to help others find and do what I have done myself, in the sense that these are the things that I've started doing to get myself to a point where basically I just don't have to work anymore. Okay? I'm not worried about money. Everything that my heart desires is met. Okay? I'm not an extravagant person. I don't need 15 Lamborghinis sitting out there or anything. If you do, I got you. More power to you, So here's the thing is I wake up every day and I got choices. I got a lot of choices, okay? And the better off you are financially, the more choices that you have. All right, we got to go down, meet some folks at the property, my fourplex downtown, and he's supposed to be giving me some money and then the rest of the money tomorrow to sign a lease, okay? Had like 130 people in the last 24 hours when I put that place up saying, do you have it for rent, okay? Thing about it is that I'm going to find who's got my money, okay? And the thing about that is that when the momentum is there, you've got to run with it, okay? And a lot of times what people will do is they hit a lick and then they retract. They back up, okay? And then they stop. And unfortunately, when that occurs, time lapses and then that momentum gets lost. And it's almost like they're in a situation where they almost might have to start all over again. We're pulling up to my house downtown here. That's mine right there. So we're waiting on the people to come here because they got my money, and we're going to get this lease signed. And we have had 2 days downtime per se with this unit as far as occupancy goes. Now, when it comes to rental property, you really need to figure in that normally you're going to lose at least 1 month out of every year. If you screen your tenants and you treat them fairly, then you end up getting a tenant for long term, and that's where the gold is made, is when you don't have that turnover. So keep that in mind when you get into rental properties. So here's the thing is, you really got to make sure that when you start on this and you get something going, run with it, go with it, keep on going with it, figure out how to build it bigger, figure out how to, what we call in businesses, scale, okay? There's some hustles that are real lucrative, but it's going to be very hard to scale it, okay? The thing is that you can make great money doing it yourself, but once you get an employee in there and then you have to, we'll say, get insurance for their equipment, whatever it is that they're going to be doing and everything, then it's not so lucrative because it ends up costing you more money. So really pay attention as far as what it is you're doing and how it's going, and keep track of your numbers. We're about to get to the meat and potatoes of kind of part of this deal as far as how to get rich and how to really start building a substantial wealth. So keep on doing me a favor, keep watching it and everything like that. Again, if you got any questions about anything, you can send me an email. Here's the thing, folks, is that this is really not rocket science, okay? And there's not a secret formula to it or anything of that nature. And I'll give you the gist of it is basically is if you're like me, I was working a W-2 job that I would go to and everything like that. And I had to start getting some side hustles going and everything. You know, I've done everything from vending machines to cutting grass to handyman service and everything, and started getting a couple rental properties, started building that up and everything. And then I started seeing myself going from constantly having $1,000 to constantly having $5,000, and then constantly having $20,000. I know this sounds crazy, but money is a magnet, okay? And when you start putting some of it together and you get it to start working for you, and one of the things that's crucial about that is that you need to think about, how can I get this money working for me, okay? If you've got, you know, 6 months to a year's worth of salary saved up in a bank and you've got any other cash laying around, you know what? You're losing money. And here's the incredible thing is that you're probably okay with that. You know, I got a friend of mine that his parents, his dad made a lot of money, okay? Millions of dollars, all right? They got about $500,000 cash sitting in the bank right now. And you know what the thing is that that money is worth less and less every year, okay? For what they get paid as far as an interest rate and the cost of living that goes up and inflation, they're losing about 3 to 5% a year on that money, okay? They won't do anything. They don't want to buy any properties. They don't want to make any investments. They feel that it's safe and secure being in the bank. Alrighty, folks. That's what it's about right there. Got a guy that showed up, gave me a deposit. It's going to pay the rest of the money tomorrow. I'll give him a set of keys to get into the place. Boom. No downtime, no money lost. Okay. Now, here's something that has been different with me is that when these things occur with vacancies, I am real quick to get them taken care of these days, as opposed to in the past, I would drag my feet, I would lollygag and everything like that. And, you know, there's been a number of times that, you know, no telling how much money I've lost over the years because I didn't make it a priority, okay? And one of the things about being a landlord is that this needs to be a job. Now, granted, it doesn't have to be a full-time job for you, okay? The thing about it, though, is that you have to treat it in, rarely do I get into religion, but here's the thing is that when God gives you blessings, it's our job to be a good steward and take care of that blessing, okay? Whether it's a great contract, if we have a really good day making some money, if he makes it possible for you to get a rental property, whatever that blessing is, we have to be a good steward and take care of it, okay? Before in the past, I was basically a whore. I just took the first person to show up and gave me a handful of money and everything. I'd rent that thing, and then all of a sudden, boom, you know, I'm having to get rid of them or, you know, do an eviction, or lo and behold, they had 5 evictions in the past and everything. But I think that was 2017, I had 5 evictions that I had to do, okay? They were all my fault. And since then, I've had to do 1, and guess what? That one was my fault as well, and the reason for that was because I did not run a background check on that person. They told me they had no criminal record. However, amazingly enough, that being on probation for DUI and having to go to drug court does not qualify for having past criminal history and everything. So, you know, I'm a felon, okay, so I'm not saying anything bad against people as far as, you know, making mistakes in the past and things of that nature and everything, but lying about them, I am against that. However, I just went ahead and took the money and everything, and, you know, that was wrong of me. So, do your due diligence. Hey there, everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful day. All right, now, we're getting kind of into the meat and potatoes of what we were talking about. Talked to 2 different people today, all right? They are not in a position of where they should be at because they are not willing to take any type of risk for the most part, okay? And for you to create anything substantial, you are going to have to take risk. You're going to have to step out of your comfort zone. Remember, part 1, we talked about emotionally, this is not going to be any fun. It's not for the weak of the faint of heart. It will put you in situations that you're no longer comfortable with, okay? And I'll give you an example is people will come to me with like a rental property and say, hey man, do you think this is a good deal, okay? Well, here's the thing is, I've been a landlord for 18 years, okay? I know my market real well, all right? And I have reserves built up, okay? I put money away every month to facilitate for vacancies. Like when I do a 12-year or a 12-month lease, I account for the next 30 days it's going to be vacant, okay? So every 12 months you lose a month, okay? Guess what? If the rent's $1,000, you lost $1,000, okay? So here's the thing is that people don't understand when they say, well, is this a good deal? My perception of a good deal and their perception are two different things, okay? But here's the thing is I talked to one person today, their parents got like $500,000 cash, okay, sitting in the bank, all right? They're losing about 2.5% per year, but they're totally okay with that, you know? They were, I don't know if they grew up hearing about the Depression, but it was not something that, you know, they experienced themselves, okay? And the thing was, though, is that a lot of people that did the Depression, they're not big on banks, okay? Because a lot of people went down there to the bank at one time and tried to get in there, and they said, no, you're not getting any money. So then they're looking at, you know, if they would even take that money and move it into a money market fund, okay, which is just slightly different, but pretty much close to being the same thing, they would almost cut their losses to where they were even, okay? They would be keeping up with inflation, almost, all right? And here's the thing is that if we don't take care of that blessing, then eventually that blessing is going to be out the window, all right? And so talk to another person, got a bunch of money sitting in the bank, all right? And they like it like that, you know? They're talking about making big moves and everything like that. It's going to be very difficult for them because they can't get their mind wrapped around that, hey, cash is trash. Now, when I say that, what do I mean? I mean that when you have money sitting and it's not doing anything for you, it's not good. Very rarely do I talk to any rich people that are in a position that I want to trade places with that tell me that, you know, hey, I can write a check for $5 million right now, okay? The people that have told me they can write a check for $5 million, they're worth probably about $100 million, okay? And so the $5 grand that I have in the underwear drawer, that's their $5 million to them, okay? And so the thing is that we need to keep our money working for us, all right? So right now, most of you that are watching this, you got a job, okay? You might not have a business or be self-employed. You might have a side hustle or something like that, but you've got a job. You got a W-2, you're going to work for somebody else. More than likely, you're doing like a Monday through Friday, and then you have Saturday and Sunday off, okay? My philosophy is Monday through Friday will pay the bills. Saturday and Sunday is where you're going to get rich at. You know, Gerald Peters talks about the 8th day. You know, you talk to many different people, and I don't ever recall anybody telling me that, you know, I worked 40 hours a week, and then when I'd go home, I'd work 2 hours every night, and then, you know, I hit it. I just haven't heard that. I'm not saying that it hasn't occurred, okay, but I just have not heard that as of yet. So, okay. Now, most of the time you're going to hear somebody say, well, you really need to put about 10%. You need to put 10% away and you're going to be okay. Don't listen to them. They're lying to you, okay? What you need to be putting away is that'll build you some wealth, 50%, okay? Most of y'all are going to say, I'm not able to do that, and you might be, okay? You might be in a position to where you're not able to put 50% of the money that comes home and everything, you know, into savings and investments and everything of that nature. I get it, okay? So then we're going to have to create some income, all right? But the first thing that we can control is our expenses. You got house, car, food. House, car, and food. That right there, my friend, is going to be your 3 biggest expenses when you look at your budget, okay? your housing, your transportation, and your food, okay? So what is it that we can do right here, all right? There's a lot of places out there that are doing meal prepping and everything. It's like here in my town, you can get a nutritious meal. If you buy 10 or 20 of them at one time, I think you can get them for about $6 or $6.50 a piece, which is quite reasonable, okay? The thing about it is that, you know, if you'll go to the grocery store and buy your own food and then prepare it, you can even get those meals down to $2 and $3 a piece, okay? So that's a huge savings right there. I know that when I eat out, generally speaking, it's $10 to $14 for lunch, okay? Majority of the time I'm on the road, I'm out and about and everything, and so I'm eating lunch out, okay? So what we can do is we can cut down on our food right there. Next thing, having to do with cars. So many people, you're never going to see another country in this world that's got such a love affair with automobiles as the United States, okay? We do, all right? You go to some countries, you get a choice of one car and that's it. You know, you go to like Britain and they got the smallest car and all they are is for you to get from point A to point B. Of course, they're paying $7 for a liter of gas or somewhere around there, but it's extremely expensive, okay? They don't look at like, you know, being in Pensacola and hopping in and go to Disney World and, you know, Orlando driving 480 miles and everything because it costs them a fortune to do that, all right? We have a huge love affair with our automobiles. Over the course of time, the amount of money that you pay with paying interest payments on those, and I see so many people that they get a vehicle 1 to 3 years and then they're trading it in, getting another vehicle, okay? And it's just such a huge expense, okay? Now, having to do with your house as well, okay? One of the easiest ways to cut down on your housing expenses, go buy a duplex and live in one side of it. Or go buy a big house downtown that's got 4 different apartments, you live in one and then rent the other 3 out. It's what they call house hacking, okay? You can really cut your expenses down. I read an article about a guy that he started when he was 23, and by the time he was 32, he was a millionaire, okay? Now, he took it to an extreme, okay? He didn't have a car. He walked everywhere he went. If he didn't and needed a ride, he took the public transportation. He would ride the bus. He ate a lot of top ramen and everything like that, but the man was committed, okay? And day in and day out, day in and day out, he stuck to his plan. By the time he was 31, 32 years old, the guy was already had $1 million, okay? So it is possible, all right? Now, here's the thing, though, is again, all right, we talked about emotions, all right? Now, when you're at the checkout line at the grocery store and you happen to see your neighbor and your neighbor's like, hey, I thought your kids were playing ball this year. Well, no, they're not. We're busy becoming millionaires. What do you mean? Why would you do that? Well, you don't think your kids want to have a good time and everything like that? Again, your emotions in the sense that now you look bad to somebody else. Don't matter, okay? You think about in 20 to 30 years when you're doing whatever you want to, and then that person's looking at you and saying, I wonder if I had saved some money back then like they were doing, I could go and do that cruise to Alaska, you know, that's 14 days like they're going and doing and everything like that. But we can't do that. We don't have enough money to do that. We spend our money and everything. So now, having to do with cars, okay? Any car will get you to point A to point B, all right? Some of you immediately are going to tell me, hey, look, I got to have a nice car, okay? I get it, all right? Example, you're a realtor, you need to have a good-looking ride. You can still have a good-looking ride that's 15 years old, though, okay? You don't have to have the newest and latest and greatest, all right? You can have a really good-looking car that's old, okay? Like right now, what I would love to find is a 94 to 96 Cadillac Fleetwood. It's got a 350 Chevy in it. Parts are cheap for them. You can buy one in decent shape when you find it from $4,000 to $6,000. They ride like a dream. It's still rear wheel. You know, you pay one and boom, you're done, okay? And if you do the maintenance on it, that thing should last forever for you, okay? And the thing about it is you'll be in comfort. It still looks good. You just can't beat the ride of a Cadillac, okay? And the thing about it is that a lot of people, oh man, I'd never drive an old car like that. Oh, I just can't be seen in something like that and everything like that. And I'm like, you know, you know, they're like, you know, I can't drive that to the club. And I'm like, well, I can't drive what you got to the bank either, you know, because if I did that, then they're going to want to charge me more money and everything. And so I'd much rather be going to the bank than hanging out at the club, okay? This is just what works for Robbo. So, on this journey, we've done part 1, this is part 2, okay? Remember, you are going to have to be willing to be different. Because probably, if you're putting any of this to use, the majority of people that you associate with are broke and living paycheck to paycheck, okay? I don't know why it is, but if you tell me the income of the 5 people you hang around the most, that's exactly how much you're gonna make, okay? You don't find people that make $1 million, and then we hang out with the guy that's making $40,000 a year, okay? It's just a different mindset there, okay? And you're not going to find somebody that's constantly looking for opportunities, constantly looking for ways to make money, constantly looking for ways to improve themselves, hanging out with people that, oh man, I can't wait till 5 o'clock and everything. I'm stopping by the bar on the way home and everything. I'm going to have me a couple beers, and then I'm going to talk some shit about the neighbors. I'm going to talk crap about this person, and then, Bobby Sue, when she turned me down at the prom and everything 30 years ago and whatnot, I get it, okay? It works for you. There's an emotional payoff for you to stay stuck and stupid. I understand, okay? Truly, I do, okay? Because I assure you of this, poor is a mindset, okay? You're born poor, just as I was, everybody else. Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, they were all born poor, okay? But at some point they made a choice not to die like that, okay? I'm just asking you, make that same choice, okay? One of the best things you can do is teach yourself financial literacy, understand money, understand how it works, and then pass that on to your children as well to create generational wealth, okay? Everybody in your family up to you could be broke, but from you going on forward, I need to see millionaires, all right? So, you're going to have to be different, all right? And then part 3 is going to be about, all right, extra income. Talk about it, be productive, be profitable, have yourself a very wonderful day. Thank you for subscribing and hit that like button. Ding, ding.